Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're feeling completely overwhelmed by modern life right now, battling those racing thoughts, career anxiety, or just this heavy sense that everything is kind of spiraling out of control, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're putting together a definitive micro to macro survival guide, all drawn directly from our source materials. We're going to cover everything from literally hacking your immediate biology all the way out to understanding the end of the world, just to give you that ultimate perspective.
Tell me if any of this sounds familiar. You can't fall asleep, you're terrified of rejection, worried you're never going to be able to retire. You're laying in bed, desperate to sleep, but your mind is just running in absolute circles. Well, our sources highlight that when this happens, your brain is actually operating on a false sense of scarcity. It's triggering a primal survival response because, frankly, it just doesn't trust you to process your worries during the busy, distracted hours of the day. So what does it do? It forces the update right when your head hits the pillow. So how are we supposed to fix this chaos? Okay, let's dive into the agenda. We're going to zoom out sequentially here. First, calming your nervous system. Second, rewiring your brain's rewards. Third, reframing fear and rejection. Fourth, rethinking work and privacy. And finally, the ultimate cosmic perspective. Alrighty, moving into section 1, calming your nervous system and hacking your immediate biology. So our first layer of survival really starts right there with the physical body. Think about it. When you're caught in a spiral of panic or anxiety, you literally cannot think your way out of it. Telling yourself, hey, don't be anxious, is kind of like throwing a pebble at a moving freight train. It just doesn't work. Instead, we have to use bottom-up, physiological approaches to send a direct, physical signal of safety to the brain, which triggers your calming parasympathetic nervous system. A wildly effective tool for this is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. By intentionally forcing your brain to process your immediate sensory environment, literally listing 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 emotion you're feeling, you are firmly rooting yourself in the present. Because the reality is, in the vast majority of cases, your present moment right now is physically safe. This sensory input sends a fast-tracked message to your brain that it can finally switch off that exhausting fight or flight alarm. Now, for an even faster biological hack, we've got the physiological sigh. This is actually an automatic reflex our bodies do spontaneously, like when we're crying or sleeping, but you can self-direct it. Here's how it works. By doing a double inhale, you reinflate these tiny little sacs in your lungs. Then you follow that with a long, slow exhale, which becomes incredibly effective at rapidly offloading carbon dioxide from your bloodstream. According to neuroscience, this is pretty much the fastest hardwired way to instantly kill a stress response in real time. It's like a manual override switch for your nervous system. And hey, if you're carrying a lot of physical tension, try this fascial maneuver right now. Seriously, do it with me. Place your thumbs squarely in your ears, grab the outer ear, gently pull and twist, and then open your jaw wide 3 times. You can move it side to side or up and down. Doing this specific physical maneuver instantly releases that stubborn built-up tension pooling in your neck, your head, and your jaw. It's just a fantastic, quick physical reset button. Okay, on to section 2, rewiring your brain's rewards, taking back your focus. So now that the physical body is grounded, let's shift gears to the mind. Have you ever wondered why we can effortlessly scroll social media for 3 straight hours, but we literally can't focus on a book or a work project for 15 minutes? It all comes down to dopamine. Our brains are essentially heat-seeking missiles for this feel-good neurotransmitter. And modern screens? They are mainlining it directly to us. So the crucial takeaway here is that we have to reset our dopamine baseline, because right now, your scale is just completely out of whack. The solution our sources provide is a mini dopamine detox. We're talking just 15 minutes a day of complete, unadulterated boredom. No phone, no screens, no music. Literally just stare at a wall if you have to. Now, your brain is going to scream for stimulation, and that's normal. That's withdrawal. But if you do this every single day, your dopamine baseline lowers, and suddenly, simple, necessary tasks like studying or finishing that work project will actually start to feel pleasurable and rewarding again. It's a total game changer. Taking back your focus also means completely changing how you view things like socializing or cold calling. I want you to think of the gumball machine analogy. If you go into these activities expecting 90% of the people you talk to be red gumballs, meaning, they're just not a real opportunity or a connection right now, you completely stop attaching your personal self-worth to the outcome. You aren't trying to force a red gumball to magically turn blue. You just set your ego aside, move on, and keep cranking the wheel until you naturally find the 10% that are actually a match. It takes the pressure completely off. Moving right along to section 3, reframing fear and rejection, conquering the mind. Building on that gumball concept, we step into the psychological layer of reframing fear and rejection. Remember that acronym for fear?
false evidence appearing real? It is literally agonizing over something that hasn't even happened yet. And as the sources remind us, staying in your comfort zone never changed anybody's life. If you want a different outcome, you've got to conquer this mental hurdle. And as Mel Robbins brilliantly champions, fear and excitement are actually the exact same physical state in your body. Think about it. Your heart races, your armpits get sweaty, your chest tightens. The only difference between terror and thrill is the label your brain assigns to that arousal. Your body is just amped up and ready to go. It's your brain that decides to yell danger instead of, hey, this is thrilling. Listen to this quote from this source material. It's absolutely fantastic. Rejection isn't failure. It's proof you had the courage to try. It's not the opposite of success. It's the price you pay to become a better version of yourself. I love that. Rejection is just redirection. So when you feel that panic of fear or rejection setting in, you can actually hack it. Just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doing this awakens your prefrontal cortex. Then instantly insert an anchor thought. This is just a positive, contextual mental image of things going really well. By doing this, you can literally trick your brain into relabeling your physical panic as excitement. Up next is Section 4, Rethinking Work and Privacy, Navigating the System. All right, so we are grounded. Our minds are rewired. Now let's zoom out to the broader systems we all live in, starting with our careers. From a really young age, society pressures us to find a job we love so we never work a day in our life. But according to our sources, chasing a dream job is actually a massive trap. It's one that leaves millions of people burnout, severely underpaid, and deeply unhappy. Let's compare the two. Highly coveted dream industries, like gaming, fashion, or sports. They know you are desperate to be there. So what do? They offer low pay, they demand unpaid overtime, and they often cultivate really toxic management styles, all under the guise of passion. Contrast that with your standard, boring corporate job. There is way less competition, much more stable hours, and management that usually views work for exactly what it is, a way to put food on the table. The core advice here? Work a boring job for the money, and then use that money to fund your true passions in your free time. Let's look at how this actually plays out in reality with a real number. $77,849. That was the median pay for an employee at General Motors, a decidedly boring legacy company. Meanwhile, at an incredibly exciting, passion-driven company like Tesla, the median employee made just over $56,000. That's a massive difference. The takeaway is clear. When you do a job to make a living, you really should maximize the money you get for your time. Now, navigating the modern system also means taking a hard look at your digital privacy. You might not even realize this, but the smartphone sitting in your pocket right now actually houses 3 completely separate computers, and a SIM card inside it is a major privacy liability. It is constantly tracking your location via cell towers. It has a baseband processor that sends secret, encrypted messages to the cellular network that even you aren't allowed to see. And through your operating system, it can engage in split tunneling, which can bypass your VPN entirely to leak your data. It's kind of wild when you think about it. So, if you are highly concerned about this sort of invisible surveillance, the actionable solution presented by the source is to remove your phone's SIM card completely. Seriously, take it out. Instead, they suggest siloing your connectivity to a separate, ideally anonymous mobile hotspot, like the ones provided by the Calyx Institute. Doing this completely cuts off your carrier's ability to directly tie your unique personal identity to the highly trackable operating system on your phone. And finally, Section 5, the ultimate cosmic perspective and the end of the world. Okay, we've covered hacking your body, rewiring your brain, managing your job, and securing your phone. Now it's time for the final massive zoom out. When your daily anxieties start to feel entirely overwhelming, our sources suggest that nothing provides a starker, more ultimate perspective than the biblical account of the end of the world. So let's impartially look at John the Apostle's apocalyptic vision from the book of Revelation. Exiled on the island of Patmos, John recorded a terrifying chronological escalation of cosmic judgment. According to the text, the timeline begins with the rapture, which removes the faithful from the earth. Then comes the breaking of the 7 seals, and this releases the infamous 4 horsemen, bringing war, famine, and death. Next, the trumpet sound, bringing literal fire from the sky and poisoned waters. All of this culminates in the ultimate battle of Armageddon, a 1,000-year holding period, and finally, the final judgment. The specific details described in this text are undeniably harrowing. It describes a third of the earth burning, the sea turning entirely to blood, giant swarms of locusts with scorpion tails torturing humanity. It also outlines the emergence of a one-world system where global populations are forced to take the mark of the beast, the number 666, just to be able to buy or sell groceries. Interestingly, the source notes that modern readers often draw some pretty striking parallels between these ancient plagues and modern concepts like nuclear winter, biological warfare, and total global surveillance. But ultimately, the text resolves with the creation of a perfect, peaceful, new heaven and a new earth.
So, what does this all mean for us today? Well, whether you view that cosmic end as literal, impending prophecy or as a profound, symbolic metaphor, the perspective it offers remains exactly the same. Think about it. If the universe is vast enough to eventually end in cosmic fire, why on earth are you letting today's temporary modern chaos steal your peace of mind? Take a deep breath, ground yourself. You absolutely have the tools to survive it all. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember, your peace is in your control.